Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to Starfield. I'm a little bit worried because, A, I can't think of any good reason the game would have made the escape shuttle our home ship when we left Suvorov, but I can think of several bad ones. And B, Delgado said he wanted anything we found related to Jasper Kryx, but two of the slates were marked as evidence for Lieutenant Toft, and I can't drop them or give them to Andreja to hold for me. If taking them back to Toft or handing them over to Delgado are mutually exclusive, I think Delgado's the better option. Running back to the Vigilance right now would be extremely suspicious.
Need a drink? Bug at the last Nova will be more than happy to...
Plus, keeping Delgado happy so we can gather intel on the fleet's current operation seems more useful to SysDef than intel about a jailbreak that happened 100 years ago.
Need to start something? Because I'll finish it.
The elevator to the command center was right off the Reckoner's core, right? Here it is. I wasn't sure because we came in through a different door last time. But it looks like Delgado, yeah. He's not where we first met him. Looks like there's an upper level. Yeah, we'll take our time and look around after we talk to him.
There you are. The hell took you so long?
It's about time. I was about to fly down and loot your bodies.
Not now, Naeva. Well, you said you found something. Hand it over.
I was afraid of that. Here you go.
That's it? Just one slate? After losing so much of our crew, it better be a map with a big red X on it. Well, I'll be damned. Legacy wasn't referring to Kryx's fortune. It's the name of an actual ship. A Galbank transport probably loaded with credits.
Never heard any stories about a Gal Bank ship going down. And even if it had happened, it would have been picked clean years ago.
No, Naeva. Think. If Galbank covered it up, and over time, the location was eventually forgotten, it wouldn't be on anyone's radar. Okay, this changes things. Now that we know what we are looking for, we have to narrow the search.
Okay, he only took one, and I'm not sure, but I don't think it was one of the ones marked as evidence, so we have at least one we can give Toft, and maybe two. And I definitely don't want to echo what Mora said. Ideally, we can drive a wedge between them, but he likes deference, so we're sticking with the yes-man approach. The legacy is real after all.
And the recording that you found proves that it is out there. All we have to do is find it. Let us start with what we know. It was a Galbank ship, which means the company is going to have records of where it went down. Naeva, weren't you working on a deal with Rokov? Something about a big-wig charity event on one of Trident's Starliners?
Are you serious? I've been working on that gig for 3 months. That's my score.
Ay, Dios mío. Will you shut up about your score and think for a second? That Starliner has a Galbank VIP suite aboard, which means... Come on, Naeva. This isn't hard.
Which means a Gal Bank exec will be aboard. We grab their credentials and get ourselves into the Gal Bank archives in New Atlantis. Holy shit, that might actually work. I'll send a message to Rokov right away.
Pack your bags, Rook. You're going on vacation. And since you've earned it, take this gun with you. Might come in handy when Rokov screws everything up as usual.
Thanks. We'll take a look at that later. Who's this Rokov? Sounds like you're not particularly impressed with him.
Rokov is... well, he's Rokov. A real pain in the ass. He used to run with the fleet until we kicked him out. Lately, he has been using his long-hauling skills to captain a Starliner for Trident. Gives us a contact within the company. He has been trying to get his foot back in the door with us for years. But I'm not ready to let him in just yet. Maybe you can use that to your advantage.
Last week he said the only way out of the Crimson Fleet was death. But we already knew that was a lie because Vladimir retired from the fleet. I always wanted to take a deep space cruise.
Good, because that is exactly what you are going to be doing. Naeva and I are too well known to walk around the Starliner without being recognized. If Trident Security spotted us, it'd be over. I need you to board that ship, make contact with Rokov, and get me those credentials.
Will do. So, how would you like me to leave things with Rokov?
You know what? I'm gonna leave that entirely up to you. If you think he's come through for us, you can promise him he'll get paid. But if he gets in your way, then you take him out.
Works for me. So, just out of curiosity, if I were to leave the cruise ship with more in my pockets than just the credentials...
I see what you are getting at, Rook. And don't worry, I would ask the same thing. Just be sure to get those credentials. Anything else of value you find on Rokov's Starliner is all yours.
Perfect. I'll get it done.
You'd better. Oh, before you leave, I wanted you to know that I took what you said about Mathis into consideration, and I've decided to cut him from the fleet.
Honestly, I'm surprised he made it off Suvorov in one piece.
If I had anything to do with it, he wouldn't have, but he took a shotgun blast to the back of the head at point-blank range, and he barely flinched, which I'm guessing is because he's flagged as essential so we can have the conversation we're having right now. I figured it was because Delgado actually sent him to test my loyalty. If I agreed to help Mathis assassinate Delgado, they wouldn't be happy. Either immediately turn hostile or maybe have a persuasion option to convince him I shouldn't be punished for having a little bit of ambition. And then the infiltration would be a lot harder because he'd trust me even less. Surprisingly, there's no option to tell him that Mathis was plotting to kill him. Kind of curious about why that would be.
You want to space out? Do it on your own time.
Sorry. Well, I'm flattered that you value my input, but why are you letting his future hinge on my opinion?
Because you're the one that finished the job. You followed orders and you put your neck on the block to get that data to the key. As far as Mathis goes, I'm sure you had to drag him through the lock and prevent him from doing something as stupid.
That about sums it up, yeah. And apparently it was not a loyalty test. At what point does sucking up start to look suspicious? I don't care about Mathis. I care about making credits.
Fair enough. That's it then. Next stop for you is Rokov's Starliner, the Siren of the Stars. And remember, Rokov does not need to know anything about Kryx's legacy. For now, it's just between us. Now get out of here.
Hey, Rook, before you head out, I need to have a word with you. Meet me at the last Nova after you wrap things up with Mathis.
Wrap things up with Mathis, you say? I like the sound of that.
Hey, I want to talk to you. Thanks to you, Delgado's cutting me from the fleet. Well, you know what? You better get your own fleet, because I'm coming after you.
I'm right here, jackass. Why wait? Would you have preferred I told Delgado about your little plot to kill him?
Oh, I see. You think you're some kind of big shot, is that it? Gonna show poor Mathis a little mercy now that you're Delgado's best buddy, yeah? Well, guess what? Your generosity is getting me kicked off the key. And that means you better watch your back.
I guess nobody filled you in on how well I respond to threats. Give it your best shot.
Oh, I will, I can promise you that. Best part is, you won't even see it coming. Now get the hell out of me way!
I see no reason to wait.
Oh, that hurts!
Well, the bad news is, apparently he's still flagged as essential so he can turn up and ambush me later at the worst possible time. Good news is, it didn't turn the entire bar hostile. Now, where's Naeva Mora?
Those crabs ain't gonna steal themselves.
Maybe.
There you
We
are.
haven't decided.
All right, look. I've been lining up a score with that asshole roll call from the Siren of the Stars for months. I'm not about to let a payday slip through my fingers. So guess what? You're gonna finish the job for me.
My friend's got a point, Bug.
just to get the
Every
rook in the
pirate
door.
in this joint comes to the
You know,
Nova
you
for
could
a
just
drink.
ask the Rook.
Or get the hell out of my bar.
You people done?
Hey, we're talking here.
Yeah, but I can't hear myself think. What do you want?
I'm about to tell you, so shut up and listen. Rokov's been tipping me off about some kind of bullshit charity event that the Siren of the Stars is hosting. At the event, they're gonna give away something called the Earth Savior Award, which is worth tens of thousands of credits. So it's simple. While you're on the Siren, swiping those Gal Bank credentials, I want you to grab that award and bring it to me.
No one likes a cheater, Naeva. You need to win that trophy fair and square.
Yeah, very funny. You're hilarious. You should stand up on the bar here and start telling more jokes. This crowd would eat it up. Look, you can make all the jokes and excuses you want. But if you don't come back with the ES award, I'm gonna deduct it from your pay. Either way, I get my money. How much you walk away with is in your own hands. Got it?
I'm not on a salary here, Mora. If you think you can take a cut of what I loot off that barge and call it a payroll deduction, I'd like to see you try. I'm out.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Look, you can make all the jokes and excuses you want. But if you don't come back with the ES award, I'm gonna deduct it from your pay. Either way, I get my money. How much you walk away with is in your own hands. Got it?
Apparently the quest won't update until we finish the conversation the right way. Well, I'm not gonna just agree, and nobody likes a tattletale. Maybe I'll just take the pay cut and save myself the trouble.
You do whatever you want. I'm trying to offer you extra money and you're throwing it in my face? I'm gonna remember that. All right, Rook, we're done here. Now, get your ass to the Siren and bring me my goods.
There we go. See ya.
We'll talk later.
You see SysDef as a joke. They haven't caught us yet.
All right, let's have a look around. There has to be more evidence here, and I want to find that interview with Jasper Kryx.
Piracy missions are always a healthy source of income.
I doubt the interview counts as evidence. It was on TV, right? And this is a bounty terminal, not a mission board. Of course, it was on TV 100 years ago, so SysDef may or may not still have records of that. Seems like they would, but you never know. I'm not attacking innocent ships or stealing from a clinic, but I might try some smuggling later. We'll see. Right now, I want to poke around the station a little bit, see what's what, what's where. Well, ammo in the shooting range isn't marked as stealing. Sure, don't mind if I do. In fact, almost nothing in here is stealing, but most of it's just junk. Bunks. Check that out in a minute. Looks like a lot of stuff in the gym, but is any of it any good? Ooh, skill magazine. Permanently increased carry capacity by 5 kilos. Hell yeah. Well, there's a slate, but it's not highlighted on the scanner. Ah, evidence. That makes it tricky to find.
So wait, say that again.
playing games. We both know your real name is Lionel Soto, and you know why I'm here.
Who are you? Fleet? Ecliptic? An independent?
I've spent 2 long years and every credit I had looking for you, just so I could look you in the eye before I pulled the trigger.
Hey, what's with the gun? There must be some mistake. I honestly don't know who you are.
Of course you don't know who I am. You're never concerned with the death you leave in your wake, in your pursuit of greed. You killed my husband, you son of a bitch! And now I'm going to kill you!
Such a terrible shame. All that time and money she wasted. Well. Better get rid of the body.
Just a little reminder of what these people are, in case you were getting lulled into thinking it's like any normal settlement because it has shops and services and such. Also a reminder that when you've decided somebody needs to die, you don't waste time gloating or making threats. You just do it. And presumably more useful to SysDef than what we found down at the lock because it's more recent. Although, if they can't afford to raid the key because they'd lose too many ships, I'm still skeptical of what gathering the evidence buys them. Hey, look at this. Another skill magazine. Ballistic weapons do 5% more damage.
Shouldn't you be heading to the Siren by now?
Bite me.
The fleet is family. Stealing from each other is just what you call a professional courtesy.
Okay. I know I just said don't start sympathizing with these people, but the bar has darts, good music, and a hell of a view. Can't deny it is my kind of place. Well, that's interesting. The bartender's terminal says the Crimson Fleet isn't doing so hot, and nobody knows more about what's really happening than a bartender in an RPG. So some of the stuff behind the counter isn't stealing, but some of it is. Kind of weird, but okay. Not actually sure why I'm checking the shop, since I don't have any spare carry capacity anyway. Well, 5 kilos since I read that magazine. But ammo weighs nothing.
Weapons for all occasions.
Here's ship services.
Jazz, my ship's busted. Something's wrong with my shields. It's like they aren't even there.
Well, I'm not gonna ask if you diverted power from them, because that would be obvious.
Oh, right. Yeah, forget I even asked.
Hey, champ. I'm including this month's list of parts I need for the key. Don't bust a gut, it's hefty, but I know you can handle it. I'm gonna need a lot more than usual this time. I'm planning to overhaul the entire electrical system before it completely shorts out. Oh yeah, thanks for sending over the key's reactor specs. I can't tell you exactly why I needed those. Del said to keep it hush-hush. As far as next month's shipment, start scrounging up some parts so I can spruce up our defensive batteries. They're looking kind of rusty. Well, I guess that's it for now. I'll have my people in New Atlantis drop off the payment at the spaceport. Just make sure you aren't being followed. We wouldn't want the UC to know they're providing replacement parts to the Crimson Fleet.
Reading between the lines, another hint that the fleet's position might be a lot weaker than they'd like everyone to believe.
As long as you put the fleet first.
Interesting. Jazz can't find good help, although it's not entirely clear whether there's a genuine labor shortage or she just wants to be indispensable out of ego or self-preservation.
So, looks like we got ourselves a new rook. Once again, I'm Jazz, resident engineer here. Like Naeva said, you need ship parts, repairs? I'll hook you up. As long as your credits are good.
Not sure why the game thinks you might be confused about someone whose full name is Jasmine having the nickname Jazz. Seems pretty obvious. I hope the fleet has wider variety than the UC and Freestar Collective ship services.
It may not be wider, but it's not on the books, if that's what you're getting at. I can guarantee your ship will be in good hands, so if you're looking for an upgrade, let me know. We got the best selection in the settled systems. Illegal, unregistered, recalled. We sell it all. No questions asked.
That's great, but won't stolen ship modules show up on UC or Freestar security scanners?
No. You buy from me, you're worry-free. I can't have my customers getting caught now, can I? That's bad for business.
Good enough. I'm always looking for an edge.
Anything that keeps the UC and Freestar Rangers off your tail is a must-have in my book. Just let me know when you want to talk business.
How about right now? Mind helping me with my ship?
No, but just remember, I don't work for free.
Excellent. I'd like to view and modify my ships.
Sounds like fun. Let's see what I've got.
One of your ships is unregistered. You must register the ship before you can modify or upgrade it. Yeah, I saw something about this in the manual or on a loading screen, but the only good thing about the prison shuttle is the cargo capacity, so I'm not sure it's even worth it. How much would that cost? 6,000 credits. It'd take another 50K to make it worth flying, and there's a very real possibility that no amount of tinkering would make it better than the Frontier. I don't want to get sidetracked right now, but I'll hang on to it, see what I can do with it later. But here's the key question. Yes, the Frontier is our home ship again. Maybe the game just wanted to tutorialize managing multiple ships if you only had one, but I'm still suspicious of why it made the shuttle our home ship when we left Suvorov. My first thought was that it gave Delgado the chance to put a tracking device on board, but it occurred to me later that it might be a bomb.
You might think it's funny, but loyalty's big in the fleet.
That's how he ensures Shinya can't snitch. And if he'll implant one in a dude's chest, he certainly wouldn't have any qualms about putting one on a new recruit's ship for the same reason. Also, I didn't ask her about it, but there was a subtle implication on her terminal that Jazz and Naeva might be lovers, and I kind of got the same vibe when Naeva introduced us. Not sure if that'll turn out to be important or not. I think the control room is the only place we haven't checked out.
I heard Rake was in a monastery, and the Rook had to dress up as a monk to find him.
No, it was some kind of multi-level marketing cult. Naeva had to call our contacts in Neon just to get the Rook in the door.
You know, you could just ask the Rook. They're right there.
And get caught up in some pyramid scheme? No, thank you.
Okay, but if you get in on the ground floor, your profits will grow geometrically as the business expands. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, man. Surprisingly little in here. Or maybe not that surprising. It's not like I was expecting a big red self-destruct button on any easy-locked terminal I saw. Captain's quarters, that sounds interesting. Okay, so it's captain's plural, not Delgado's quarters. And the locked one is presumably a player home if you side with the pirates. Another slate. No audio log, not much on it, just property of Ryujin Industries. Maybe the objective of a fetch quest if you're working with them? Dunno. Well, Delgado's quarters must be on the top level where he was standing when we got back from Suvorov. Probably should have guessed that, considering how much he likes being the big guy in charge. Doesn't seem like anybody's upset that we're in here, which is good. There are 2 segments of Kryx's interview I haven't found yet, and if there's any really juicy intel, this seems like where it would be. Speaking of which, anybody object to me reading this terminal? No? All right. Delgado's personal logs. Bingo. The bartender was spot on. The fleet's falling apart, which is why Delgado's going all in on finding the legacy. He thinks he's the only thing holding it together right now, but of course any megalomaniac is going to think that. And he believes Naeva is loyal, which she probably is up to a point, but I'm not convinced that he's as indispensable as he thinks he is. Oh, hey, don't mind me.
Hell of a job you did down there, Rook. Hell of a job.
Thanks. Just looking for that interview you told me about.
Tell us what the future holds for the Crimson Fleet.
I'm going to edit these out and then either play them in the right sequence or just summarize at the end. I found them wildly out of order, and while I do love me some Quentin Tarantino nonlinear storytelling, we're not here to be entertained. We're here to put together enough info to take down the fleet. I always thought it'd be fun to re-edit Pulp Fiction and put the scenes in chronological order. My hypothesis being that it'd still make complete sense and be easier to follow, but lose most of its charm. Well, I'm sure I missed a few things, and we're still short one segment of Kryx's interview, but I think that's good enough for now. Need to sort some loot and do some crafting. Oh, is that it?
UC will never crush the fleet. They'd have to catch us first.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gail Dunnigan of SSNN, and this is Galactalk.
Okay, that's more than 20 minutes total, so I'll just summarize. Typical rags-to-riches gangster story. Started young, crimes of escalating severity, rose to the top of the biggest gang in New Atlantis, got busted, started the Crimson Fleet when he broke out of the lock and took over the key, and justified it all because the UC is a bunch of warmongering fascists. And okay, fair enough, that's pretty much the same conclusion I've come to, but that doesn't buy an ounce of sympathy from me. If you think painting "No Gods, No Masters" on your guns is going to fool me, you're sorely mistaken. You only want to eliminate state authority so you can substitute your own. You are, by definition, not an anarchist. You're just another murderous thug with a different logo on your flag.
Welcome to Freestar Space. We're going to do a quick scan for contraband and you can be on your way.
Good. Didn't pick up any by mistake.
That's all we need. You're cleared for landing at Aquila City.
That said, I do have a dilemma. On one hand, I never endorse any lesser of two evils gibberish. Not because I want to watch the galaxy burn, but because the potential harm to everyday people if one of those gangs had complete control is even more horrifying than what they're capable of when distracted by dealing with each other. On the other hand, if we destroy the Crimson Fleet, the Freestar Collective still provides a counterweight to the UC. How that might shift the balance of power isn't entirely clear. Seems like the UC puts more resources into fighting pirates, so it'd make them stronger, but it looks like Freestar Space is sandwiched between them, so taking some pressure off one of their flanks might make them stronger too. Bottom line, Captain Jeff has decided in his own fit of megalomania that the galaxy would be a better place without the Crimson Fleet, so they're going down. Would he feel differently if they hadn't killed Troy and Calvert, kidnapped Heller and left him for dead, and most importantly, made Lynn sad? Maybe, but they did, so their fate was sealed in the tutorial. And it's going to take a few loot runs to get all this stuff back and forth from the ship. Well, apparently the contents of the cargo hold get moved automatically when you change home ships, but the captain's locker doesn't. The question is, do I have to register the shuttle to make it my home ship again? Looks like I don't. Convenient. Might as well take the shoddy. No sense leaving anything of value on board if I might sell the ship somewhere down the line. Which depends entirely on whether I can get more for it than the registration fee would cost. Or if there's a maximum number of ships you can own and I need to clear a spot on the list. I should spend these skill points before I do any research or crafting. I think ballistic weapons is ready to rank up. Yeah. But rank 4 doesn't increase damage, it increases range, and range hasn't really been a big problem. I think I'd be better off doubling down on crafting. Weapon engineering is ready to rank up, and that's definitely on the list, but so is research methods, and rank 4 of that is sweet. Resource requirements for research and crafting down another 20%, and sudden developments are twice as common. Yeah, that's gotta be top of the list. I'm having that. And we can put the other one in weapon engineering. Might unlock some tasty stuff. No, Grip and Stock Mod 3 was only the tip of the iceberg. I just needed to scroll down a bit. But I should have left 10 of everything in the hold instead of 5. I think we have enough, but I'm going to have to grab what I need out of the case on the desk. Okay, after a lot of tinkering, here's what we have. First, the refined Rattler replaces the Furious Rattler. I don't know how fast Furious stacks, but this takes the pressure off to score consecutive hits, and hopefully the extra damage and bigger magazine will make up for it. But the real surprise, with the right mods, the Shoddy is an absolute beast. Compared to the pacifier that saved my skin against the Grolobas in the lock, the damage per shot is less than half, but the rate of fire is insane, so the DPS is at least 60% higher, even before you take the much larger magazine into account. Lower accuracy, better range, but it's the weapon of last resort when enemies are right in my face, so neither one is a big deal. And it uses the much more common 12-gauge caseless ammo like the Coachman. And speaking of the Coachman, DPS on the Shoddy is about 30% higher, but the real upgrade there is 12 shots between reloads instead of just 4. It feels weird to swap out a legendary shotgun for one that has no special effects at all, and I almost didn't even bother taking, but that's where we are. And last but not least on the equipment shuffling agenda, where's Andreja? I want to give her my old spacesuit before I forget. I heard her talking a little bit ago. Yes, I'm using my otherworldly gifts to help sort loot. Yes, I know that's not a traditional interpretation of with great power comes great responsibility. Sue me.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you need me?
I do. Let's trade gear.
I am happy to help shoulder the load.
Okay. Way back when I noticed that Lynn wasn't wearing the one I gave her, the comment said you had to tell followers to wear an outfit, otherwise they'll just carry it. So I assume B to equip means it'll be equipped on her, not on me, right? Well, it's still in her inventory, so presumably it does. Ready to head back out?
I look forward to it.
Why is Barrett here? Shouldn't he be on the ship? Oh, right. The shuttle has max crew of 1, and Sarah doesn't count because of her leadership skill, so he was apparently the odd man out when that was our home ship. I guess Sam had seniority because I hired him first. Don't know. But we can assign Barrett back to the frontier, so all's well that ends well. I'm still a little bit paranoid about the whole shuttle thing. The game presumably locks you into the shuttle bay, so you're forced to have a boss battle with the Groloba Queen before you can escape. Fair enough. But why make the means of escape be a shuttle and not just a hangar door to the landing pad where your own ship is parked? Especially if sitting in the pilot seat automatically makes it your home ship. Maybe that's not special behavior for the shuttle. Maybe it always works that way. Like if you board an enemy ship in space, that's how you claim it. In which case, having your crew and cargo come with you would make a lot more sense than it did with the shuttle. But either way, it just feels like the game wants you to get off your regular ship for a few minutes, and that suggests that Delgado did something to it.
It is good to be back in our own ship.
You might want this.
Now, if the shuttle was the Warden's runabout and it was awesome, then I'd be like, well, okay, that's your quest reward. But it's terrible. Of course, then I'd be thinking, well, this is too good to be true. What's the catch? Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And we're docking. And complete. Easy peasy.
Yo, back. So how did it go?
Well, I'm neither confident nor having second thoughts. Why are you so surprised to see me?
Frankly, it's because we've never gotten this far before. The last agent I sent to infiltrate the Crimson Fleet ended up in a morgue on New Atlantis.
Very reassuring. Well, I have successfully infiltrated the Crimson Fleet. And actually, based on their own pessimistic self-assessment, I am somewhat confident this plan is going to work.
Then things are moving forward. Perfect.
Nice job, Rook.
I was certain we'd fool Delgado, but never. She's a sharp one. Overcoming her scrutiny is no small matter. Did you discover anything worth reporting yet?
Yes, but they have people inside UC security. Are you sure it's safe if I pass you this information with so many people around?
I understand your concern, but you can rest assured that every member of this crew has been thoroughly vetted by both myself and Lieutenant Toft. Any information that you turn over will not be leaving this ship until it's fully encrypted and encoded. I give you my word.
Yeah, the word of a kidnapper and extortionist is worth less to me than you apparently think it should be. What did you mean when you said you weren't surprised that I was able to fool Delgado?
If the intelligence I've read is accurate, Delgado is a charismatic leader, but a bit short on judgment. That's why you want to stay on his good side, and stay away from Naeva. She's shrewd, and she's sniffed out everything we've thrown her way.
All right, we're on the same page there. Playing yes man with him and keeping her at arm's length. Delgado is searching for a Galbank ship named Legacy that was carrying some type of lost fortune.
Legacy. Why does that sound familiar? Wait a moment. Are you telling me Delgado may have actually located Kryx's legacy?
I have never heard of such a thing.
I'm surprised. I thought this was one of those tales that made it to every corner of the settled systems.
I suppose it's possible, sir. Intelligence picked up a bit of chatter on that subject recently. We assumed it was some sort of tall tale or a story to attract recruits to their cause.
Yeah, that's what I thought too at first. But story or not, Delgado believes it's real.
Well, let's find out if Delgado is chasing ghosts, or he's smarter than we suspect. Let me see what we have here. Nope. There are no records of a Galbank transport named the Legacy in the database. I think Delgado's trying to manipulate you. What do you think, sir?
I think there's no record because Galbank is hiding something. Delgado's no fool. If he risked his own neck to get that information, then he must be on to something. We have to take this seriously. What's your next move?
I'll get to that in a minute, but I have a couple of questions first. How did you know Delgado was with us at the lock? Lightspeed delay means you had to have a listening post in the system and somebody to jump back with the intel.
That one's simple. We monitored your ships heading down to the surface of Suvorov. In fact, when he returned to the key and you didn't immediately follow, well, we almost thought our operation was terminated.
As far as why Galbank would hide the loss, it'd obviously be a PR disaster, and it might make their shareholders nervous, but I'm not sure how you hide something like that from the notoriously overzealous UC regulatory bureaucracy. Seems like the Space SEC and the Space FAA would both be all the way up their ass. What's your take on that?
Can you imagine the amount of embarrassment Galbank would have to endure if they listed a lost transport in the ship registry? Doesn't matter if that ship went down 5 or 500 years ago. If news gets out that a bank has misplaced money, it would tank their value.
Obviously, but how'd they hide it from the feds? Anyway, I'm supposed to board a Starliner to steal Galbank archive credentials.
Clever, Delgado. Very clever. If I were in your place, I'd be trying to do the exact same thing. We can't let Delgado get his hands on what could potentially turn out to be the largest haul of credits the Crimson Fleet's ever seen.
Maybe I should head out to New Atlantis, sir. I could press the Galbank execs for information. Get ahead of everything.
No. Let's allow this to run its course. We have our agent here feeding us information. I think that's good enough for now. There's more to this than just finding the location of the transport. Jasper Kryx was clever, and for some reason, he never got there.
Well, let me guess. Because the Legacy went down on a planet with something so dangerous it makes a Gerloba queen look like a plush hamster, right? Well, I already talked about why I don't think offing Delgado would hurt the fleet that much, and we know Kryx never retrieved the Legacy, because otherwise the fleet would be in a much better position than they are today, so I'll proceed as planned, then.
It's imperative that you do. If the Crimson Fleet gets its hands on a transport full of currency, it would be disastrous for the settled systems. I need you to do whatever you can to bring us more information. And for God's sake, don't kill anyone on that Starliner. You're both dismissed.
Yes? If you have the time, I wish to speak to you.
Hold that thought 1 second. I need to turn in this evidence.
The commander appreciates the sacrifice you've made. Going undercover.
I'm sure he does. I have some evidence for you.
Nice work. Let me take a look.
Pick this up.
Ooh, really? Was it a choking noise?
Hey, could you people keep it down?
It was both.
Picked this up from the lock.
It's amazing that all this romantic nonsense about Kryx's legacy really just amounts to a rumor Jasper Kryx picked up in jail. It just goes to show you how a tiny rumor can snowball into a full-blown fairy tale. Have any more?
Yes, I found this in the warden's office.
I'll be damned. So some of the UC guards at the lock helped touch off the riots. Everyone thought he was some kind of legendary criminal mastermind, but even the great Jasper Kryx needed a helping hand to get out of prison. Any other fragments?
Yes, and more recent. According to this, you have a mole feeding supplies to Jasmine Durand.
Yeah, you're right. But there's no way this was a solo job. Shifting all those parts takes serious manpower. I'll send this to Mast so they can shake the tree a bit, see what falls out. Looks like Durand better start looking for parts somewhere else. Anything else?
One more. I've discovered some interesting information about Radley Jasso.
So, Mr. Yasso is actually Lionel Soto. We thought Soto was dead. At least, that's what the records told us. I'll have the records updated, but seeing as Mr. Yasso has surrounded himself with the Crimson Fleet, there isn't much we can do. Yet. That it?
That's it.
Okay, fine. I know there's more out there, so keep on it.
Turning in evidence unlocks more of the mysterious backstory she pretends she doesn't want to share. You really don't like talking about the past, do you?
You're not gonna let this go, are you? Why do you care so much about my past?
Well, partly because you remind me of a slightly older Lucy West. Yeah, I finally figured out why the voice actress sounded so familiar. It's Jan Johns, who played all the female Voice 04 NPCs in Fallout 3. Lucy West, Sierra Petrovita, Bittercup, lots of others. Anyway, why do you care so much that I'm asking?
Because the things you're asking are private, and we're supposed to be maintaining a professional rapport, not making friends.
What's wrong with making friends?
Look, I like to keep my attachments at a minimum, okay? In my line of work, if you make friends, you eventually end up losing them, either through reassignment or, well, for other reasons.
Yeah, I figured the Crimson Fleet killed her family or something like that, but maybe it was a close friend. But what's the best way to get her to open up? I definitely don't want to call her out for practically begging me to drag the truth out of her. Since she's repeatedly said she wants to keep things professional, that angle is probably the way to go. Since I'm entrusting SysDef with my life, I deserve to know who's got my back.
Okay. But don't say I didn't warn you. You might not like what I have to say. Would it shock you to learn that I spent some time in prison? I suppose that makes me a hypocrite.
Well, it might or it might not. Why do you think it makes you a hypocrite?
Oh, come on. I haven't exactly been cordial about my feelings towards the Crimson Fleet's illegal activities.
Neither cordial nor subtle. And if you were a murderer, yeah, you'd be a bit of a hypocrite. But if you did something that shouldn't even be considered a crime, like doing hair and nails for your neighbors without a state license, not so much. And since you feel guilty about it, but you're not still in prison, I'm guessing you were somewhere in between, right?
Oh, does it now? Was I giving off some kind of ex-con sort of vibe? Well, give me a chance to explain. I grew up in the well in New Atlantis. Parents made barely enough money to keep the lights on in our apartment. After I dropped out of school, they begged for me to look for work. But I realized it was a lot easier to simply take whatever I wanted instead. A year after that, I'm a career criminal with UC security breathing down my neck, and my parents kicking me out of the house.
Yep, definitely in between. Be interesting to know if she's talking armed robbery or B&E, but that's not an option. So you lived on the streets?
Hell no. I made enough money to buy my own apartment. Filled it with some decent stuff, too. I'd even send pictures of the place to my folks to rub it in. I was a real asshole. Well, I wasn't a nice person.
Well, that could still go either way. Actively endorsing that lifestyle would obviously piss her off now, and I'm not sure she believes she had to do it because she enjoyed it. From a criminal to a cop, go figure.
Would make a hell of a motion picture. I was having the time of my life, earning way more than I needed to simply get by and loving every minute of it. Back then, if you would have told me one day I'd be wearing this uniform, I'd have said you were out of your mind.
Oh yeah, nailed that. And yet, look at you now.
Thanks. I'm quite proud of where I've ended up. Let's just say the years after my time in the well were filled with highs and lows. Look, the point is that I felt you deserved to know a bit about my past, to know where my anger towards the fleet comes from.
I still don't. And I'm still pretty sure they killed somebody you cared about. Being a criminal in New Atlantis is a long way from running with the fleet.
Longer than you can possibly imagine. Well, I think you've had enough for now. You get the point. Let's get back to it before Keyboy writes us a citation for loitering.
Okay, I'm guessing we need to turn in more evidence to hear more of her story. Oh, by the way, I read the dossiers you gave me, and as you suspected, they weren't terribly helpful, although I did confirm some things. Can you give me any other useful background on the fleet?
They're pirates in every sense of the word, but they've managed to get more organized under their current leadership. That makes them especially dangerous, but hopefully it makes them a little more predictable, too.
We'll see. Later.
I'll be here if you have any more questions.
Immediately, or are there other matters that require your attention?
Oh, sorry. Almost forgot you wanted to talk.
If you have the time, I wish to speak to you.
You bothering me for a reason?
Just walking aft, Sarah.
Hey, Dad. Want to hear
I have been curious. I know that your role in Constellation was thrust upon you in an unusual way. But that experience does not demand that you stay. You could have delivered the artifact and then left. Why do you stay?
Hold on.
Hey, next time you see Barrett, try it out on him.
The artifacts mean something. It's important that we find out what.
It does seem to be a unique situation with serious consequences. That is what keeps me here as well. My past is complicated. And anyone in Constellation will tell you I do not speak much of it. But my family always stressed the importance of having a purpose in life. You must have a reason for being.
Well, having goals is important, but so is having time for fun. Not trying to deflect here, but why is Constellation meaningful to you?
This group of people, who by rights would never associate with one another, has come together for a common cause. That is impressive on its own, before considering the magnitude of the work they have undertaken. The possibilities it holds.
Agreed. So back to the original question. If I can only pick one, I'd have to say having goals is more important. Is it cheating to say that one of those goals should be allocating adequate time to de-stress?
A goal is something you work towards, an expectation of achievement. That is not the same. I believe it is sometimes phrased as, the destination is not as important as the journey. When I first came to New Atlantis, I was shocked at how many people go about their business every day like drones. They do their jobs, eat their food, sleep in their beds, all seemingly without concern for anything around them. Complacent. Their experience is so different from much of the settled systems. They do not know how good they have it.
Well, interesting in-game confirmation of something I said back in the first few episodes. Most people don't seem to have much curiosity. They think explorers like us are weirdos for wondering what's out there. So your experiences must have been very different then.
Yes, they were. I did not grow up amidst such luxury. Purpose cuts through adversity. I know that all too well. And these people seem to have no idea.
Well, she doesn't seem to feel sorry for herself. She seems very much the what doesn't kill me makes me stronger type. You've obviously been through a lot.
I have. There have been times where I wondered whether it was worth it. My family is unique within the settled systems. I grew up outside the bounds of the United Colonies, or the Freestar Collective. My parents, and their parents before them, did not believe anyone outside our family could be trusted or relied upon. You can imagine, I am sure, how existence without ties to others is challenging in space.
Was your family part of List? The law and order thing aside, we might have more in common than I thought. I suspect the middle two options are leading in a romantic direction, but I'm not sure I could say either one and be sincere. Yeah, why did your family insist on independence?
They believed, and still do, that anyone who was not part of our family did not share our values, our goals, and was ultimately a potential threat. My time in the settled systems has mostly led me to agree with them.
And they're not wrong. But on the Venn diagram of life, threats and opportunities overlap quite a bit. People who will help you and people who will hurt you aren't separate, homogeneous groups. Well, I'll be honest with her. being able to get by on your own is something to admire.
It has certainly proven valuable. Saved me. A few times, without question. For now, though, it would seem you and I have found purpose in Constellation. I believe that is enough. I am pleased that we have common cause, and have enjoyed our time together. Thank you.
Back at you. All right, I'm going to call it a day here. As always, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have questions or suggestions. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.